In the past, I have not been much of a meal planner, and I've said a lot on YouTube that I don't meal plan, but I've been finding it increasingly difficult to get homemade and healthy meals on the table as my daughter is getting older. She's 5 now and we're busier than ever, so I really have to switch up my routine and how I think about dinners throughout the week. And I'm partnering with QVC for today's video, and they were kind enough to send me these beautiful dishes, so I want to start using these so we can really elevate our meals for the week, because even though easy meals sometimes feel like they shouldn't be elevated, they definitely should and can be with just some simple, beautiful dishes like these. For today's menu, we are having turkey bruschetta burgers, and this is a recipe that actually my dietitian gave me, and it's from Skinny Taste. I will leave a link for that in the description box. But I have the ground turkey thawing now, so I'm gonna make the burgers later, but I wanna get the bruschetta going because A, I have the space to do it, but also I think that bruschetta and those sorts of salads taste better after they have sat for a while. So let's get this going. One of the things I always do, even without meal planning, is whenever I'm making anything, if possible, I make extra so that way I don't have to worry about lunch or dinner the next day. So I'm counting on this turkey burger bruschetta recipe to last me through dinner tonight and then lunch tomorrow. So I'm going to double everything. Half of this I'm using for dinner, so I'm gonna put it in this pretty dish just so it looks nice to serve. And then the other half, since they're going to be leftovers, and I'm going to put it in a storage container anyway, I'm going to put in just a container for the fridge and let it sit in there for lunch tomorrow. I chopped the tomatoes first because I wanted to do the onions later because they hurt my eyes. But now in hindsight, I might actually recommend doing the tomatoes last. They make a mess of your cutting board. So maybe a more efficient way of doing this would have been to chop everything else and then the tomatoes last, but we're gonna be all right. In each bowl, we are going to add 2 cloves of minced garlic, some chopped red onion. I think the recipe calls for a 1/4 cup of chopped red onion. I'm probably gonna do a little less than that just because if I am gonna eat this for lunch and then I have to go talk to people, I don't know if anyone's gonna wanna talk with me. So we'll just cut back on the onion a little bit, but I do love some red onion. And then a little bit of olive oil and balsamic vinegar. And I don't really measure much when I cook like this, so I'm just going to eyeball it. But if you are the measuring type, I definitely recommend checking out the link for the exact measurements. And in goes the balsamic vinegar, which I basically can't have enough of. It's so good. I'm going to add some of this chopped basil from the grocery store. So I'm out of freeze-dried basil from last year's garden, and I just planted this year's basil about a week ago, so it's not ready yet. And I recommend this chopped basil over the type in the packs from the grocery store because it has better potency. The packs from the grocery store are crazy expensive for the amount of basil that you get, and this isn't particularly cheap either compared to growing your own, but it is a better deal, and I think it tastes better too because it's partially preserved. So it's just a better option if you don't have access to fresh basil right now. Okay, so that is in the fridge and ready to go. I need to make the turkey burgers, but I forgot to take the turkey out last night. So it is thawing now, and once it is thawed, I will make those burgers closer to dinner time. So while we wait, I want to send a quick thanks to QVC for sending me these beautiful baking dishes. So I really have a thing for scalloped edge anything these days, but these nesting baking dishes are so pretty because they have these pretty scalloped edges and a really beautiful design. And one thing I really like about them is that they nest like this, which makes them easy to store. I really like anything that can double as cookware and a serving dish, and these obviously make beautiful serving dishes as we saw with the bruschetta that we just made together, but also these are oven safe and microwave safe. So you can cook and bake right in these and then put them out to serve, which makes cleanup a lot easier because I really don't have the time and patience to be making something and then putting it in a pretty serving dish and then washing both of those dishes. If you enjoy cooking and entertaining, QVC has a lot of options, and these particular dishes come in a variety of colors. I chose the blue because I like the way they look in my kitchen, but there are a variety of colors and patterns to choose from. You can shop these temptation baking dishes using my link, and it's in the description box. And be sure to use that link soon because QVC offers exclusive deals and limited time offers that you can't find anywhere else. Thank you so much to QVC for sponsoring today's video. It is Wednesday. We had leftovers yesterday, so total day off cooking. And sorry, don't mind my wet hair. I just got back and showered from hot Pilates. So it's a busy day. I have exactly 1 hour to get across town, shower, and then start dinner because we're booked up for the rest of the day. So with that said, we're having a freezer meal today that I'm cooking in the slow cooker. This is a honey garlic chicken freezer meal. You can get this recipe over my blog at moonandmagnolia.com. And all I'm going to do is dump this in my slow cooker and cook it from frozen and get on with my day. This freezer meal, I froze in a 2-pack like this inside of one other freezer bag and then froze them kind of upright in my freezer. And the reason I did that is because I knew I wanted to cook them in my slow cooker. So that way I can dump it right out of the bag and then it fits perfectly inside my slow cooker without having to thaw it. So this is like magic. All I'm gonna do, open this up and dump it on in. This is actually one of our favorite recipes, and I think what I'll do later tonight is I'll probably either heat up some frozen rice that I have or serve this over a bed of coleslaw. That's a really great option to get a veggie in. It doesn't change the flavor that much, and you can just toss it right in the bowl and you have a full meal. Make sure you get all that delicious juice in there. And speaking of, I think what I'm going to do is put a little extra water in here just to make sure it doesn't dry out. So 1 cup of water going right in. Probably what I'll do later when I get back is I'll check on this and make sure I don't need to add any water, but usually a cup of water does the job. When you cook a freezer meal from frozen like this, you can cook it on high or low. I don't need this for a number of hours, so I'm going to cook this on low. I personally don't care if the chicken is shreddable, so I'm just gonna let it cook until we're ready to eat. But if you have less time or something like that, you can put it on high and cook it for 3 to 4 hours or so, or until it is cooked through. So you always want that chicken to be 165 degrees minimum when you are cooking it to make sure it's safe to eat. But if you want it shreddable, it needs to get higher than that to break down the collagen. So 165 degrees minimum or higher if you want it shreddable, or if you're like me and you just need it to be cooked and done, whatever. Just cook it until it's cooked to death. Good morning. Sorry, it's a little dark in here. It is a rainy day, but I am starting the day off by making dinner because that just makes my life easier. So today on the meal plan, we have grilled vegetable and orzo pasta salad with a little bit of leftover chicken that I have in the freezer. So I have some water on the stove coming to a boil, and I am preheating my cast iron griddle on the stove. You could definitely make this outside on the grill if you wanted to, but I don't really have time to do that today. And also it is not very nice out today. So we are going to char these as best as we can on the stovetop. And also, since my daughter most likely isn't going to eat an orzo salad, I am going to make her a cheesy orzo bake. So that way, kind of like mac and cheese, so she can have some of the chicken and that too. So we'll get to that here in a little bit. For this, you could use any veggies you want. I'm just using what I have on hand. I have peppers, some zucchini, a little bit of red onion, but if there's something else you prefer, yellow squash, something like that, you could also use that for sure. And then I'm just going to toss these right into a bowl and season them. So I'm gonna use avocado oil and salt and pepper. A lot of recipes often call for olive oil for charring and for pan searing. I really prefer avocado oil because you can get it hotter, and I think it does a little bit better when cooking like that. I like olive oil for dressing things and avocado oil for cooking. Okay, so I have this griddle preheating. It is piping hot, and I'm just going to put some of these veggies on here and get them grilling. While we wait for the veggies, the water is boiling, so I'm gonna add this box of orzo. One thing that's really important that I feel like I'm learning today about meal planning is that you just have to stick with it. The whole point of the meal plan is to take the decision making out of your day to day, so that work is already done for you. I planned on grilling today, but obviously that's not working out because of the weather. So I just found another way to make the recipe. It'd be way more complicated to think of something else to make, to have to put in a grocery order for a different recipe. So really, I think the most important part of this is to make sure you're sticking with the plan and adapt as necessary. Maybe it means you're not doing exactly what you thought you were going to do with the meal plan, but you're still using the groceries you got for it, and the decision has already been made. That might be a little hard to see, but we're getting some pretty good looking char marks here. So I think we are just about done. I'm just going to stir these around a little bit, and then we will get these off this griddle. And that was perfect timing because this orzo is done. So I'm gonna drain this. I'm gonna make a really quick cheese sauce for this orzo. My daughter doesn't like complicated mac and cheese. She doesn't really like baked mac and cheese. She basically just likes pasta and cheese sauce. So that makes life pretty easy. And I mean, honestly, who doesn't like pasta and cheese sauce? I'll make a quick roux, just a little bit of butter, and I'll melt this and then add about equal parts flour. For whatever reason, with this particular brand of butter lately, I have found that I need more flour for my roux. They're not getting thick enough. So we'll just kind of eyeball it and see how it goes. And then we'll just let that cook for a minute to get the flour taste out of it. And I almost always recommend using warm milk when you're making a cheese sauce because that creates a smoother cheese sauce, but I don't have time for any of that mess today. So we're just gonna use regular milk. Everything's gonna be fine. But if you have time, you can warm the milk just to take the chill off of it, and that does help. And I'm gonna bump up the heat here so that way it comes to a little bit of a simmer, helps thicken it. And now we add the cheese. Now, because these dishes are oven safe, you could also make this as a baked pasta. It's totally up to you if that's what you prefer. If you wanted to make this a baked pasta, what I would do is I would cook the pasta about half of the time until it's slightly shy of al dente, and then add the cheese sauce and pop it in the oven. But what's nice about this is I already made the orzo for the orzo salad. So I'm really just kind of killing two birds with one stone here and feeding everybody with just a little extra work with the cheese sauce. And it's really not that much work. I like to leave a little extra cheese sauce and then I put taco seasoning in it and dip chips in it. It's really good. We are gonna chop these grilled veggies now into just big pieces, sort of like a rough chop, so we can mix them into our salad. Ideally, without making a mess, we'll see if that happens. I'm going to put this orzo right in the bowl. So this is just what's left of what I cooked. And now I'm going to add those grilled veggies.